Docker support. We support Docker. You know about that. I don't want to talk too much about it. Docker support exists since 8.0 and you can download containers, especially with the web front and services, directly from the Docker Hub. This is exactly the same than before. It exists now a container version for the 8.0 release in the same way that it exists container versions for the 8.1 release. People who download them from Docker should ensure that they chose the right version. Of course, 8.1 container will not really work with the 8.0 database and vice versa. The newest, it's 8.1, and so that means if you need Docker containers just for 8, you have to take not the newest release version. Last but not least, for all people should know it, for Docker exists a complete video series on YouTube. Just download the video series or have a look at it and you will see what is possible in Docker. There is no significant difference between 8 and 8.1. And of course, the same new .NET framework that is necessary to run it on Windows machines it's installed in Docker containers as well. And for the Linux containers, the Mono package was upgraded to 5.1.8, which at the end should then support that best. As well new in 8.1, it's the Starling hybrid subscription feature. We will in seconds show you where you can find that, but at the end it is just a call that allows you to connect to Starling. There is no secret behind just to connect Identity Manager to Starling. You can just select it from the menu, follow the instructions on the screen, and seconds after you are connected. At present, possible is to use the two-factor authentication from Starling, and additionally to that exists then as well the functionality to use Approve Anywhere for request and approval processes. Both features, that means two-factor plus this Approval Anywhere, can be only used if your Identity Manager installation is connected to Starling. To do so, you use the hybrid subscription as explained. And to connect one Identity Manager with one Identity Starling, what is named the connection to the one Identity hybrid subscription, what you need is your Launchpad. As you can see in the Launchpad on the first side, there is an option connect to one Identity hybrid subscription. You can just click on that and get automatically the Designer started. In Designer, we will immediately see a small wizard, and this wizard will now join you to the Starling hybrid subscription. Therefore, you have to click next and follow the steps which are there. In detail, you will then register at Starling and then you can just connect these systems together. Once this is done, the complete Starling connection is here defined in this configuration parameter, by the way, in QER, person, and then Starling, and there you will find all of these options the wizard will have configured. And that is the place where you at the end can change something if this is necessary later on. It is very easy, I don't want to show you that. And if your hybrid subscription is already configured, two options can be used at present. One of them, as we know, it's the two-factor authentication using Starling, and the second is the Approve Anywhere feature, which allows you then with your cell phones to approve requests in IT Shop if you like it from any place in the world. End-of-life features. As you can see, from an end-of-life perspective, not too many changes. We heard about the Oracle support that did not exist anymore. Again, it's the support just to install Identity Manager on an Oracle server. The second thing is the Google reCAPTCHA version 1. It's not longer supported, which is not really a problem, especially because the reCAPTCHA version 2 is supported. And with that, we lose only an older version of something we already support. Another feature which is in the meantime missing, it's the SVN component. SVN, it's a code repository. As you know, you can check in or check out things. And this component was part of the process component, so it was possible to use processes to check in or check out something in SVN. The component was removed, which means not that at the end this functionality did not exist anymore. It did not exist out of the box, that's true, but as you know, you can just extend your complete processes with the standard customization functionalities. And doing so, you can just add this functionality back into the system, which is possible, but out of the box not available anymore. On the left-hand side, as you can see, the majority of changes have something to do with the password management. As you know, since version 7, that means into version 8 and in version 8.1, a lot of things around the password handling was implemented. And with that, some of the older features will just disappear. One of them is to support the password questions and answers in Manager. This was possible in the past. In the meantime, we don't want to do that any longer. Here we will just use the password reset web, which is the new front end just for any of these belongings to reset passwords and to configure password related stuff like password questions. Additionally to that, in the very past it was possible to set a configuration parameter. You can see on the screen, person use central password permanent store was a configuration parameter allowing us to store permanently a password, the password of the user central password. That means this central password you can set on the person object on the miscellaneous tab, this password in the database. Remember, typically, passwords only passes the identity manager. That means you set your password in central password and automatically this password gets then just provisioned in target systems, but it gets deleted in the database so that we don't store passwords, which is a security breach. At the end, what happens there was a configuration parameter available that was prohibiting that behavior and the password was just permanently stored in the identity manager database. With the new version, we don't want to support that any longer because of the security perspective and because it's not necessary anymore. Last but not least, one table containing operating systems is as well removed. That means the table OS, which just was storing operating system names like Microsoft Windows 10 or Windows NT or whatever, or Linux, was just there in the database. It is an old relic out of the good old days of software deployment, which the very, very old versions and previous versions of the Identity Manager was as well doing. And it is not necessary, even for asset management, not necessary anymore. And because of that, if you need it in addition to other tables or if you miss it, then it is possible as well to do some customization and you will at the end then get such a table back. This is all from the end of life perspective. And now let's talk about new features, which makes much more fun from my perspective.